I'm here. Can you hear me?
Got you finally. All right, cool.
Yeah. How do I start my video? And because you're not on video either.
I know. I am. Oh.
But aren't we doing this on video?
Yeah, you just do top, the bottom left corner. You got the start video.
I haven't got that option. This is what I'm starting to panic now because I don't know how I do it.
Where's the?
There's no video option.
So we'll go back. Let's go there.
Oh, this is it. This is what I was worried about.
Change videos, partnerships there. You can share all points. You can share.
This is going to be a disaster if we can't get my video to work.
To do that. There you are. It should be all right now. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You disallowed it or something. You've not allowed it in the settings, I think.
I think it's just a webinar thing. But anyway, there's people coming in. Let's have a look, see if they're here. Can everyone hear us? They're all here. Let's have a look here. By the looks of it, yeah. The gallery view. It's there, lower all hands. Yeah, good stuff. Hang on. So there we go. Right, cool. Okay, what are we doing for time? What are we doing? 3 minutes? There we are. We've muted all of you guys. If you're there, if you want to say hello, feel free to jump in and say hello before we kick off.
Hi.
Oh, hello, David Mintz, the lovely David Mintz, the intrepid reporter who had Tom Panos on, in no less.
Can you do? Would you send me the link, please?
I already have. I told you, it's in there.
Oh, good. And are you free at 4:30?
Yeah. I'm always there.
I've got a surprise for you.
Oh, well, you know how I like surprises.
It's Robert May.
Does that mean you're not doing the 2 pence in then?
No, we're not today. We're doing a special one-off podcast.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, you are.
Hello, everybody. Right, okay. I'll just, if you're ready, Suzanna, I will. We'll kick off.
I'm as ready as
1 minute. 1 minute, everybody, please.
Can I just say how lovely you're all looking today?
Thank you. That's very kind of you. I am.
I was obviously referring to you.
I feel it. Acaboom, here we are. Kerfuffle exclusive. Okie dokie.
Thank you.
It's okay. And that should be us going. Oh, we are going live now as well. There we are. So, okay, Suzanna, if it's all right with you, I'm just going to introduce you, and then I'll let you do what you do best. Obviously, talk. If that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool. And then I'll add everyone else in as well, so you'll have plenty of opportunities. So let me just get that sorted now. And I am going to just share my screen just for 1 moment. Don't worry, Suzanna, it's all going to be about you today. Okay.
Makes a change.
Okay. So, thank you everybody for making it today. Can you see that? What the F is Kerfuffle, Suzanna?
I can.
Good stuff. Right. That's me. Obviously, no Kerfuffle webinar would be complete without me bigging up myself. So that, believe it or not, some people.
It's going to be all about me.
It's nothing about you. There are, believe it or not, some people that don't know what Kerfuffle is. So just very quickly, again, it's amalgamation of all of those different companies, staggeringly close without breaking any copyright infringements. But basically, we're an A to Z of the best suppliers within the industry, and we strike up a number of deals, which we'll be talking about, hopefully, again at the end. And we are going to be introducing our partners over the coming weeks and months to talk about them in a little bit more detail. Today, we are very pleased to have Acaboom on board, and our partner profile is obviously with you guys. So we have the sales director or social butterfly, that is Suzanna here. Suzanna, I've tried to break down what Acaboom does, and I think actually you might suffer from a little bit the same thing that that we suffer from here, in that you do a variety of different things. But if we were trying being succinct, I think it's really that you helps you win more valuations by structuring your market appraisal process. Is that on the money?
Yeah, I mean, it structures it with visuals and presentation material to make you stand out from the competition at the right time. Yeah.
Cool. Great. And key clients, you've got some, I mean, we haven't been able to list them all. Again, I'm quite lazy, so I only listed the ones until I got bored. Thomas Morris, Simon Bradbury of Big Fame, Ryder and Dutton, Gibbs Gillespie, a lot of fine and country offices, Webbers, Pygott and Crone, Dawson's. I think the key thing I take from that and your other clients I know is that this is, this is really across the whole spectrum of the industry. Volume, you've got volume guys in there, you've got the middle of the market, you've got fine and country at the top end of the marketplace. It is really just about, if you do a market appraisal, you're in the right spot, aren't you? Which is obviously, hopefully, every single estate agent, albeit not too many going live at the moment.
No, we've got lots going live at the moment. Very busy.
Stop showing off. Well, to be honest, I'm not surprised, and we will get onto that in a little while why you are so busy. If anyone feels so inclined, by the way, that they simply can't do it without an hour of Suzanna's time, you can book in directly from this link, which I'll put up here, and I will pop into the chat box for anyone to do. And literally, you can get access to her when she's not drinking WKD. You can get access, and she can book in a Zoom call and take this through in more detail with you. But as I said, I'll pop that up in there whilst she's blabbing away in a minute. Right, Suzanna, getting into it. Contentious statement to kick things off. All agents are exactly the same. Please discuss.
Okay. A bit of interference there on the line, I think. I think you might need to mute some people, Simon.
Okay, well, you carry on blabbing while I mute away.
Okay, I'm just going to share my screen because it is a really interesting question. Are all agents the same? And it's a hot topic of conversation, because that's kind of why Acaboom was created, really. It was because if you book a market appraisal with different agents, the journey tends to look very similar. And a lot of agents do kind of follow the same process. So I've just shared a visual on screen here. And you can see, if I was a vendor now booking an appointment, this cycle that I can see on screen is typically what I would experience. So I would receive an appointment confirmation. Just to share a stat there, 84% of agents actually send an appointment confirmation with no introduction to the valuer, no images included, usually at the back of a CRM. Yep. At the market appraisal, usually I'll see a Rightmove best price guide, a brochure, which is a contentious subject right now, actually, with the new government guidelines that are probably likely to come out. Handling of brochures is probably going to be something that will be a little bit iffy for a while. Yep. And then actually 91% of agents send a valuation letter. So that tends to be, when we say letter, it could be an email, but essentially it's text. It's, this is what my fees are. This is what I valued it at, have a nice day. That's typically what I will tend to experience. Following on from that, I tend to get some follow-up calls, and you'll know, Simon, we've both worked for CRM providers, and we understand that after a month or two, it tends to dwindle into no contacts. The valuers are busy; they're focused on the instructions that are coming in now, the valuations they're doing today. Whereas, the ones that are a couple of months old that perhaps haven't converted yet are kind of forgotten about. So usually, that's the end of my journey. That's what one normally looks like.
Yeah. So is it fair to say, just looking at that that journey there, that actually, whilst you've got it as a nice circle, with traditional agents, that it actually breaks after that no further contact, doesn't it? Really. So not to tell you that your marketing collateral is wrong, but it's wrong. I mean, that's right though, isn't it? Really, actually, it goes off down another post, and actually, what they're more likely to do is bounce into another agent's books.
Potentially, but then often there's no further contact still. You know, I mean, there might be the odd phone call here and there at best, but there's not often very much structured marketing going out or plan of attack to stay in touch.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that all makes perfect sense. So, so is that all right? You finished on that bit. So talk us through, obviously, if it's broken, if it's a tool, and one of the things I love about Acaboom is that actually it fills a space, bizarrely, that isn't very congested, and yet there's nothing more important than the market appraisal itself. So if we say that you are one of the few providers that operates in that space, talk us through what you do before the market appraisal that's different.
Yeah, I mean, that's in line with this journey that you can see on screen. Most agents are sending out something like an appointment confirmation at the back of the CRM. In fact, 84% of them do that, which is kind of doesn't tend to contain images or introduction to a valuer. So, I mean, I can show you a few examples that perhaps we've got on screen. We would create a bespoke appointment confirmation for each valuer, if you like, that would introduce that particular person they're about to meet and the company as well. So they would receive this both by email and text message. And essentially, we would bespoke design this for a client and make sure that they're presented well beforehand, you know. I mean, I can tell you from going from a standard appointment confirmation like I was referring to move into an Acaboom one, it has an effect on the cancellation rate by about 20%. So you're doing 20% more appointments than you were before, which is also a good thing.
No, that's great. You know what you need there. You need a little calculator there. What does that look like in terms of, you know, once you estimate how much money that is wasted on those appointments? That's a great efficiency saver, and just, you know, many agents will be familiar with that story of you know, how disappointing it is to have those cancelled. Okay, that's great.
Some people choose to do these by video, by the way. It doesn't necessarily have to be just images and photos and bios. You know, you can do a video version if you want to. It's also great to talk about what to expect on the day of a market appraisal. A lot of agents don't do that, and we forget that the vendor potentially hasn't had a market appraisal before, or not for a long time. How long are you going to be there? What are you going to do? Do they need to have anything prepared? Let's get those questions out the way and make the client feel at ease before we even arrive. And
the classic, try and make sure that, you know, both partners are there at the same time to look at it.
Potentially, yeah.
Okay, yeah, great. Okay, so that's prior to it, so I can absolutely see why that's you know, that's absolute best practice. I can see what you're trying to do there. During the appraisal itself, how can you help the agents?
Yeah, I mean, during the appraisal, most agents, in my experience, will take a Rightmove best price guide, which typically shows comparables with a thumbnail image, perhaps one image of the property, and like I say, and typically a brochure. So essentially what we do provide as an option is we've got an app in the App Store, and without an internet connection, what you can do is present to the client digitally, which again, just to touch on that, it's great not to be handing out paperwork and things at the moment. So this is a great alternative. What this allows actually the agent to do is have this on, say, an iPad or Android device. It will be presented with the client's details on, and what actually the valuer can do is, if they click the top, they've got all the thumbnails for the different slides and reasons to use them available to them. So it means essentially that depending on the type of conversation they're having with that vendor or landlord, we're talking about sales, but just as much for lettings, they can choose to present something. So for example, Simon, if I was unfortunate enough to be at your house today, I might choose to, first of all, introduce a team to you, you know, which is a strong point. People do buy people. So it's great to kind of, you know, have it in place so that I'm introducing who you'll be working with, particularly on lettings, actually, with a property management team. I may then choose to share some stats with you about the area. Now, we automatically provide these depending on where the landlord, or depending on where the property is for the vendor or landlord. And I might talk you through how many transactions there's been, what the average sales price is. Interestingly enough, though, I'll probably be talking to you about house price growth. So, for example, kind of what it's looked like in the last year and 5 years. Acaboom always tells the valuer how long the person's lived at the property for. So you know how these figures would represent for them, you know, so you're able to talk consultatively around that. Oh, we also include comparables. Now, this is a key distinction now, because what you're able to do is walk through all the photos of the comparables and the floor plans without showing any other agent's branding. They're not necessarily all on the market with this particular agent, but it's a more interactive session than perhaps just a print off. So we're able to do something a little bit differently without handing paper out. And also we do...
Sorry to interrupt, and I know you do love to be interrupted. What's great there is Josh Fegan always talks about the well-known Aussie trainer. He talks about using your competitors' instructions to help yourself. Just, as you said there, you're able to, even if you're a new startup, essentially, by almost owning your competitors' instructions and knowing them better than they know themselves, as long as you present that back to the vendor in the right way, that's a really valuable tool. And secondly, following on from that, I can understand this comparables point, because, of course, a lot of agents are going out there with just a right move, a right move comparables list. And then there's, where's the differentiation? There is no differentiation, is there?
Well, I did an interview with Steve Grace, who's ex-MD of JMP, part of the LSLI group. He's opened his own business now called King's Hills, and that's exactly his point. Is now he's doing online valuations. He's able to screen share like I am today and actually walk through a full Acaboom presentation and show all the comparables of listings for both on the market and for sold as well. Because again, you're able to walk through sold listings. We pull this from Land Registry, and we're able to kind of walk through a full journey with the client in a very professional way, again, with social distancing. Yeah. And essentially we can say to the client, we're going to send you this later. So you made a point earlier, Simon, if you haven't got both decision makers there, well, you can still send this to them later, so the other decision maker can still see all the key reasons to be using you. Because then all the other slides in here are bespoke for that agent to kind of talk about why perhaps they're the best agent in the town and why they should instruct them. Not a lot of agents actually really get that message across, and particularly not in a visual sense. And that's important because people remember visuals far more than they remember wordy conversations or text. In fact, the stats on that are, if I talk to you verbally today without showing you any visuals, you'll typically only remember about 10% of what I've said 3 days later. Maybe lower for you, Simon. But essentially, that's what it normally looks like. Whereas if I do show you visuals, that stat actually goes up to about 65% of what will be retained. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm an agent out there presenting, I want to be in the 65% camp. I want to be remembered there. I don't want to be in the 10% camp. And that's something else Acaboom's helping with there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's really, really useful to find out. So obviously, we'd love to think we all obviously win the instruction there and then, but on the understanding that isn't always possible. After the appraisal itself, how do you work? How do you help?
Yeah, sure. In fact, I'm going to come back to my presentation for that, because you mentioned there about how long it takes people to make a decision. I mean, most people would win it on the day, but I've got some stats on that just here, and you can see actually only 7% of market appraisals are won on the day. So it's quite low, really. I mean, we'd like to think we help with that by giving you the professional presentation material, but essentially this is a national average, and you can see 68% of people take up to a month. But these are the people here at this side of the graph. These will instruct, these people will go on the market, but they just haven't yet. They either timing's not right or they've not chosen an agent yet. So it is important to stay in touch after the market appraisal, one would argue, more so than at any other time. So yeah, so really key. So after the market appraisal, believe it or not, as it stands at the moment, 91% of agents currently send a letter, which essentially is just either an email or posted, but it's basically text, and it says, these are my fees, and this is how much I valued your house at. It doesn't normally have images in, and they don't track it. That's 91%. It's a really high figure. So for agents that are listening today, it doesn't take much to be different here. And with Acaboom, that's what we offer. We offer a bespoke proposal tool. So what's going out afterwards is a full bespoke proposal for that vendor to see all their comparables, the stats about their area, all the key reasons to use them, plus the fees and the standard terms and conditions we need to include. But it's very impressive in comparison to something else. And I think the real key there is the tracking. So, I mean, timing is the secret of the universe. I mean, Simon, we've talked about this many times, but if we catch people when they're in decision-making mode, actually catch them when, oh God, I need to get on with this, I need to get the house on the market, I'm far more likely to win that instruction than if I'm ringing them, when they're putting the kids to bed or out doing their shopping and just not in that zone. So I want to catch people at the right time. So essentially we do that by every time somebody opens their proposal side of it, the bit with the fees in, the bit when they're considering their decision, we notify the correct valuer or team to make the phone call. This person is available. This person is reviewing their decision. Give them a call now and actually get in touch with them to be the one that wins the instruction.
That's a really interesting stat there, and that's backed up, I think, it backs up other research, international research done by, MIT, the famous American sort of university, and they do all sorts of statistics about the speed of response. You're 8 times more likely to win a client if you respond within an hour, and all that sort of information. We're all so time poor these days, aren't we, that if you don't get them while they're in that zone, as it were, you're fighting a losing battle, aren't you?
Yeah, so it's all about catching them when they're in that zone, when they're available. And essentially that's something Acaboom helps you to do. Valuers love that. They love, because they get this prompt, not just maybe within the first few weeks after the market appraisal. This could be 6 months later. We've just looked at the stats at how long it takes somebody to make a decision. Usually valuers aren't still calling them 6 months later, or certainly not at the right moment, whereas Acaboom's helping them do that.
That's great. I mean, I can see why that you're talking about how actually, there's many different tools out there I see that, CEOs and principals of the business absolutely love, and it gets passed down to the staff, and actually they, let's just say they're less than enthusiastic about it. The one thing that I like when I do my due diligence on Acaboom, and you talk to actually the users, they are the ones that are telling the principals of the business how much they enjoy and how much it works. Look, we won't mention the firm, but one particular rather large agent told us that, if I remember rightly, that one of their valuers had dropped an iPad, which obviously had Acaboom on it, and smashed the screen and everything else, and was in tears because they didn't have they had a really important appointment to go to, didn't they? That shows actually how much they see you as an essential.
Yeah, that actually, they don't mind us naming the firm. That was Farrell Hayworth, about 20 offices across the north. So yeah,
I don't like to blab, Suzanna.
No, it's fine. It's fine. They don't mind. And the reason I say that is because they were a very traditional agent that thought their valuers would never present digitally. They were very used to paper-based systems. So it was a big move for them going to a more digital approach. Which more people are doing. That's why we're busy at the moment, because people do want to go for a more digital approach around this process. So it just goes to show that it's habit, really. It's what we're used to. And that particular one, the reason I was told that story was just because it had, from a very traditional valuer, had gone to a digitally presenting valuer and couldn't get away from it then, because again, they'd formed new habits, which I think we're all doing at the moment.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And so talk to us about, we're talking here about kind of immediately after the appraisal, aren't we, as well? That element there, I'm absolutely amazed about how, 6 to 9 months and everything else there. One of the nice features, do you want to talk them through the market report and how that...
I mean, essentially what we've done here is we've covered a bit of what the journey looks like for a vendor. And, normally at this stage of the journey, they are getting telephone calls from the agent to try and close them for a time period. But we both know that typically only goes on for a month or so. Whereas when we reflect on these stats, people are still instructing much later on than that. So it is important to stay in touch. Now, what we actually offer in that area is we send out what we call market update reports. So essentially that means the client continues to receive communications from the agent and from the valuer in question, but it just tells them about what new instructions have come to market and any changes that have taken place in the marketplace. So very specific to them, very personal to them, and essentially it's keeping the brand of the agent in front of them on an ongoing basis.
I loved it. I mean, I can't remember whether it was you or Brian that showed me it, but when you were demonstrating this 3 years ago, obviously you do
Simon, sorry, you might just need to mute somebody. I think somebody's joined and they're talking. I can hear them more than you, which is unusual.
Fine, yes, I liaise with her on Facebook.
What the hell was that?
They're talking about Facebook.
They all look like they're muted. I can't see where that is.
Okay, maybe they've gone now. It's quiet now.
Don't worry, we've shamed them into it, so as long as I don't mute myself. Okay, yeah, no, I was put on my postcode and obviously street just to show how good the information. It was really. I mean, I know there's a lot of different sources for this, but it was hyper local. It was really simple and unobtrusive. And it shows to me, I haven't unsubscribed from that almost 3 years later. I have no intention of moving at the moment. But you know what? If Acaboom, don't tell Brian to launch his own estate agency, but if Acaboom was Acaboom Estate Agents, I know that they would be one of the first ones I would give a port of call, because frankly, they've won my trust. They've got consistency without being obtrusive.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. It's not necessarily. Sorry, go on.
Come on, you know I'm talking. No, I think you've told me though before is one of the things you were stunned at was the unsubscribe rate. Do you want to just tell everyone?
Oh yeah, I mean, having a background and having worked with email marketing for some time, the unsubscribe rate from Acaboom, even after a full 12 months, is just it's less than 1%. So it's incredible. People like the content that's sent out.
Well, that's staggering, isn't it? So as you say, previously you were an EDM company, and it used to be in the good old days, you won an email address off somebody, and that was the holy grail, and you knew you could, pretty much get attention from them. One of the challenges we've got these days is because so many, people are over exploiting it, and we subscribe to too many things ourselves, that it isn't, actually it's a real difficulty trying to, first of all, get attention for people in their inbox or whatever else, and then secondly, people will, if you're not hyper relevant, they will unsubscribe in a matter of seconds, won't they? So that unsubscribe rate, I think, is the absolute key. By the way, as boring as it is, and I can't believe it is me talking about GDPR, the whole point about GDPR, one of the things is staying relevant and consistent again there. And that's a classic example to show, look, we've been talking to our clients. We haven't just spammed them after 5 years saying, can we have an appraisal?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the main thing that we're just trying to do is structure a market appraisal so that you're very in touch before, during, immediately afterwards, and for a longer process so that you're keeping more memorable in that client's mind and winning the instruction. That's what this is all about. Right. And that doesn't matter whether we're in the market conditions we're in right now, because that's why we're busy. People are using Acaboom very well for online market appraisals just as well as physical ones. It's an easy tool to share the screen like I am, walk through the whole presentation, show a comparable.
That's really worth talking about as well, because we were talking, one of the reasons
talking about it.
One of the reasons we got you on was that we heard about it last week. That obviously, are we allowed to mention him? It's public, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Who? Sorry.
Matt Nicol. That point.
Yeah.
So he was saying that his appraisal rate doing these digital appraisals was exactly the same as
his conversion rate is the same doing it digitally as it is on site, which raises a few questions. And it does suggest that in the future, there might be more of a hybrid model towards doing a bit of online and a bit of on site, certainly. And Acaboom's for both. It doesn't make any difference, really. It's just about sharing good quality material and a good presentation and standing out from the competition.
Absolutely. Right, I'm just conscious of time. We promised everyone sort of half an hour there. Am I okay just to take back control? Have you got anything else you need to...
No, you can take back control. I'd like an opportunity to talk a little bit about the light product, if that's okay, before you go on to any questions.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, let me just say this next bit, and then we'll let you start nattering away as usual. I'm going to just go back to my slides here, because I was looking across all of your marketing, and again, it's for me to ask the tough questions, as they say. And here is, you proudly talk about, obviously, the Acaboom, the smarter way to win instructions. Isn't that just a polite way of saying, you just need one more instruction to pay for this, which, of course, most agents will want to punch a supplier's face in for saying?
Well, essentially, I mean, Acaboom's not about winning one instruction, it's about winning many. Can't tell you, I mean, yesterday I spoke to 3 clients and each of them told me about the latest instruction they'd just won with Acaboom, and I asked them how they'd won it. It was all slightly different variations of the same story, and it was generally to do with the material they were sending out. So I don't think it's about just winning one more instruction, it's about winning multiple and increasing fees as well. We've got many case studies where people have increased their fees by justifying them more at a market appraisal and beyond. So happy to share those with anybody that wants to see that.
There was one particular case study testimonial I saw with Simon Bradbury, who we spoke about before. He started at the end of last year trying to, get the conversion rate, get the fees up, and there was a staggering success because he was actually doing a round table for talking about the power of Acaboom.
Yeah, he's my number one salesperson. I didn't even know he was doing it, but yeah, he increased his conversion rate by
number one salesperson. That's just shot me down. Thank you. That's really kind.
No problem, Simon, anytime. But he increased his conversion rate by 17% for using Acaboom, alongside training of the product and using it, you know, in the same way each time. Technology can't do your job for you. You've got to use it right and at the correct time. So, and that's what obviously we help with. But yeah, we increased it by that. I mean, again, we mentioned Matt Nicol. He increased his average fee by near on £400 per transaction. So lots of people do. So, but happy to talk to people
I've
about
got a
it.
couple of questions before we come on. So I know you've done a big reveal this week in terms of the light product. But Sarah Evans asks, how are you different to Sprift? So Sprift are a heavily data-led company, aren't they, in terms of there? How would you say, I mean, I know, for example, I know you've got plenty of clients that are both Sprift clients and Acaboom. So do you mind just...
No. Yeah, we work, I think it's a nice complement to each other, really. I mean, lots of our clients will use both. Sprift provides probably more of a broader data range than we do, whereas we provide more of a proposal tool, if you like, and more tracking and ongoing communication. But a lot of clients will use both systems to dovetail, if you like, and get the most out of it. And essentially they'll use that by using the property data perhaps to clarify with the vendor exactly what's changed with their property since the last update, since it was last on the market, because that's what Sprift provide. And they may use the Sprift report before the market appraisal as well. I've got a number of clients that do kind of an online session, telephone call with the vendor beforehand using that data. And then at the appraisal may use Sprift as well for that. They also do a buyer's report, which is quite good. Whereas Acaboom are more about what we send out visually, more about presentation material. And it's about presenting something at the market appraisal in a digital format with following that up afterwards and beyond that. So yeah, not uncommon for lots of our customers to use both.
And that would be true of tools like Home Search as well, wouldn't it? They will complement what you're doing. It's just another way. That's great. Hopefully that answers your question, Sarah. And of course, any questions we don't answer or you want to pick up directly with Suzanna, please just let us know and we'll pass those over. Zoe asks a normal one, which I've had to deal with over the years. Is there any exclusivity or will you sell to our competitors?
Sure. Where's Zoe from, sorry?
All I've got is Zoe on here, actually.
Oh, okay. I just wondered. So we don't offer exclusivity on the product because the product is literally bespoke. No presentation we build looks the same as anybody else's. I hope when I was sharing the screen earlier, you could see the difference. I did show a Weber's example, and I showed one from a country agent up in Yorkshire as well. And the presentations just look completely different for each and every single one.
Yeah, I think that's the key, isn't it? I was always asked that for when I was at Repick, can we have exclusivity? And I know they're not at the top of everyone's list. I said, when you can get exclusivity from Rightmove, we'll do the same thing. It really isn't about the product itself. It's how you use it.
And also just to say, you know, and if there is a competitor using it in the area and you're doing the standard process, you also need to compete with that because, you know, you are doing what most agents do already, more than likely. If you're in the 91% camp of sending a letter or email out just after a market appraisal, you're already doing exactly the same as somebody else. So even if there is one other agent in the town using Acaboom, we will make sure yours looks completely different and your journey's different. You may use it different, but you now need to step up to the mark to be like them rather than just like everyone else anyway. So there's lots of counter arguments for that, but
it's like somebody having a digital newsletter, you know, just because the other guys are doing the newsletter does not mean
you don't. Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully that answers that, Zoe. Thank you for that. That's a good question. I've got anonymous attendee here, which could be anything, but actually it's a sensible.
Ooh, okay.
I didn't even know we could do anonymous. So anyway, this says, can this be used to people that are not on the market yet, but registered on your mailing lists?
Oh, great question. Yes, absolutely. So the way that the way that I have presented Acaboom today is the traditional way we market Acaboom and I sell Acaboom, if you like. It's the way that we win more instructions is our leading line, if you like, because we know that and we've proven that time and time again. Yeah. But essentially Acaboom's a tool and it's a piece of technology. It can be used in many ways. So Robbins and Michael Jackson, to name one there down in the south, they are using it for buyers as well. So for example, if you've got a buyer who makes an offer and it gets rejected, they will be sending them other properties that they might want to make offers on. And also if you've got a property to sell, you should be using us. We've got other clients that use it for web leads as well, because they'll essentially, rather than just a standard kind of email, they'll send them a bit of a presentation. They get the notification when they open it, and they call them within the hour of getting the notification, and their interaction with web leads has increased massively just because they're catching people at the right time. So yes, it doesn't have to be used just for market appraisals in the way that I've pitched it today. There are a number of ways it can be used across both sales and lettings. I would say, basically, Simon, you shared the Calendly link. Please book in an appointment and we can discuss the individual requirements.
Excellent, excellent. And there's another one here as well. You know, does Acaboom integrate into the current software, or is it a standalone product, and what is the cost? From Mark at Langtown and Country. So that's a great question there in terms of every agent's favourite one. Please, please, please tell me it integrates with my CRM.
So it does integrate with some, not all of them, and I'm not going to list every single one of them now. However, in most cases, and in a lot of cases, it is standalone as well. And I could tell you lots of clients, I mean, we've just talked about Simon Bradbury at Thomas Morris. He uses it standalone. And really, to use it standalone, all you've got to do is a name and address, very small, and it saves a lot of time in the end, in the end part of the journey. So yes, in some cases, no in some, but to be honest, it's not that much of a big deal if it doesn't. Yeah. I know that's probably a bit of a woolly answer, but again, I'd encourage people to book in to discuss their individual requirements so we can consult on it. That's what I would say.
Look, let me apologise for my previous sins as Mr. CRM. You know, let's face it, the CRMs to a large degree are the gatekeepers here, so the onus is on them. What we have seen fantastically, led by the likes of LetMC, Agent OS as they're known, they've moved to go down a open API framework there, where they really see the value of working with companies like Acaboom, you know, Desres Open API, MRI Open API, Repit, my old company, has come up with their, you know, what promises to be a game changer in terms of the PAS system. So look, they might not all be there now, but luckily no longer are they being the gatekeepers of that data, and I think you're going to see some quite exciting types. But the key thing is, you've seen those agents already. If they're getting 17% increase in conversions, I don't think this is something should delay. And what I am going to show, though, actually, Suzanna, here, just because I think I'm just conscious of time, anybody who does want to jump up and open a question in a minute, I will open it up. But I just want to again show the screen and take you back to
1988? I don't know, where are you going with this?
Sorry, not 1988. I want to take you back to my wonderfully pink thing. The reason, look, again, the reason why I am a shameless whore, as you all know, for many reasons, but I love holding. I was at Repit, we were market leader. It was fantastic. I got to shout about, you know, one brilliant company there. The reason I did Kerfuffle was so that I could hang on to the coattails of all of these brilliant ones. So here we can see there's 13 reviews for them at the moment. There's 5 out of 5 rating here. You know, we can see the deal. We're going to come back to that in a second. If you are interested, do click I'm interested, contact me, or as we said, book an appointment directly with Suzanna there. And we're really excited this week that actually we're the first real estate agency review site to go live with video reviews, which really brings reviews to life. And here, as we can see in this section here, we've got 4 already from some, I think Angela's might be even on the call today, but Ryan Wolford, Simon Bradbury, Simon Woodcock, that thing I spoke of at the beginning, that TripAdvisor thing where you can see friends and family, people you respect, giving feedback on that. So I think, look, this is the reason why, and we just spoke about integrations. We talk about the integrations for each supplier we have on board there as well. So I think, you know, just going back to it, use Kerfuffle as the review there, your due diligence, and then we'll help set it up. Suzanna, I can see there a wonderful little kicking K with exclusive Kerfuffle deal. Could you just finish off before, if nobody else has any questions?
Oh, yeah, please. So
the light product you've just introduced this week, and secondly, the Kerfuffle deal you've got for our members, which is hard, of course, to be a Kerfuffle member.
Okay, so first of all, then, with regards to the light deal that we have on offer at the moment, we've just launched that. So, and this is the most I've talked about it really, but essentially that means that for agents that perhaps want to get started now and start advertising the fact that maybe they're doing online valuations right now and start performing those right now and have a product to go out to market with, hopefully when we're outdoors very soon. We have launched a product that's a lighter version, so it doesn't contain all the features, but what it does do is it means you can get up and running for a cheaper price. Yeah. Now, without doing a full demonstration and showing all the features of both, it's a bit hard to kind of exactly explain. So I would again encourage, have a demo and I'll show you what you get with both packages, and you can see which cost point kind of suits you. Price was asked about a moment ago and we didn't answer that. We moved on, so I'm keen to just mention something there. The structure for the pricing is there's a setup fee to build it and there's a monthly license fee for unlimited use. The setup fee really depends on which product you go for and what you want. For a full package with full bespoke designs, you're probably looking at around $949, whereas with a lighter product, you could be looking for as little as $175. It really does depend on, you know, what you want as a business for your, well, to how you want to represent your brand. In terms of license fees, it's not a high-end expensive product. A single office can get started for sort of $149 a month. Okay. And a light product even cheaper. So let's have a look.
And of course, you didn't say it, but you don't need to. You will do a deal basically for Kerfuffle members, of course, as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to just talk through that Kerfuffle, the Kerfuffle Quick Start, just very quickly?
Yeah, sure. So that basically means what we would do is we would import your contacts. So we would get an export of your old valuations that perhaps you've not won, maybe some of your applicants, and essentially import those in to Acaboom and get a presentation out now, start making noise now in your pipeline so that we're ready to not go back to a blank piece of paper in a few short weeks, but we actually have clients to go through to.
Okay, brilliant. Look, as usual, you've massively talked over your allotted time, but no one's surprised by that. I have asked if there's any more questions, but there isn't. Please drop me a line directly at simon@kerfuffle.it if you do have any, or you can jump straight into Suzanna's diary and book up there. Thank you very much for making it today. Thank you, Suzanna.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thanks everybody for listening.
Everybody.